All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. Tonight, of course, we are here at the RACECORE Online Racing League, and we have a great race in store here from Lime Rock Park, a road course, bringing it to you here tonight. Of course, before we get into all of the racing details, we're going to quickly go through the sponsors here for tonight's race, and we have a brand new sponsor coming on board here for the remainder of this season, and of course, the new series that you just watched coming up here shortly, and that is Gold Cube. Make sure you check them out on their social media. Again, a brand new sponsor coming here on board, so make sure you check them out. And of course, you cannot go anywhere without remembering the rest of the partners here that have made this league possible. Those do include Global Building Contractors, Dan Butler Designs, Leo's Coney Island at Rochester Hills, and of course the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race and this series, that is Iracing Drivers World. Make sure you check all these partners out on their social media sites. And on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here for 2018 if it wasn't for the following partners. Those do include Northwest Racing Series, Wool's Beard Co. Beard Mom, Ohio IndyCar League, SimSpeedShop.com, and, of course, iBog. Don't forget about them. Check out all these great partners on their social media sites, websites, and support them as they support us. And that being said, it is time to get our second chair announced here, as we're getting his name typed in there. And you've heard him before. He's back again tonight. That is normally the 00 of Chris White. So, Chris, welcome back to the booth once again.
Yeah, appreciate that, Charles. Excited to be here. Lime Rock Park is an interesting road course. Haven't ran this too much myself, but I was out there for a little bit in my little ghost car there, and I'd have to say it's going to be pretty tricky, pretty narrow, hard to pass, and we'll see how many cautions we get.
Yeah, definitely going to be different. Quite frankly, I love road courses. They mix it up a little bit. You know, it gets rid of that monotonous turning left over and over again. These guys are going to have to turn right here tonight. So this could be interesting. And I also want to point out here, while we have a few minutes, actually, we'll get to the national anthem here in a second, but we have about 1:20 left. We have Richard Reagan Jr. While that name is probably a nobody to everybody, I know him. He actually races in a league that we picked up for 5 races here. The last race being next Saturday, when we did yesterday as well. I was told when I first heard that name that if he's in the race, he's going to win. Here he is in a different league at the top of the chart, so he's somebody we're going to have to watch tonight.
Yeah, well, from the sounds of it, certainly. So we'll keep an eye on that number 46 here in this league today. But again, it's a road course. It's going to be tricky. Like you said, there's right turns instead of just left turns.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be tricky. We'll see how this all plays out here. Again, we'll get to the national anthem here in just a second. Actually, we'll go ahead and step away and do that, as they're going to have to take a long warm-up lap here. So we'll be right back, and hopefully just about in time they will be putting in some laps. So we'll be right back after your national anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to drop down. As we kind of figured here, nobody is out on, well, they are out on the track, but nobody has officially put in a lap yet. So we'll go ahead and put qualifying up on the screen. We have well over 20 drivers here tonight. Top 20 will be on your thing, and we'll go ahead and put up your driver bars. You're watching somebody who's no stranger to this league. You've covered him before here. That is Mikey Neal in that number 8 machine. He was one of them saying that he's blown his engine here a couple of times, and the only thing we can figure is it's when you get too hard on the brake, these cars really suck the front of the car down to the track. And what we're thinking is happening here, and again, this is just an educated guess here, is that oil pan is actually scraping the ground and causing damage, and that's what's blowing these engines. So they're going to have to be very careful on the brakes here coming into these corners, especially when you have those little rumble strip things on the corners.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to gauge your braking points entering these corners, especially coming down that front stretch. It's a long straightaway, heavy braking going into turn 1, so we'll see what happens when they go through there. The rumble strips are definitely intense. They do kick the car up, and that front end can slam down, and I'm sure that does lead to some damage.
Yeah, I know we were talking to Mikey Neal earlier as we were down there talking to a few people, and people were talking about how they're going into the pits with 45 to a minute worth of repairs, so they're definitely getting some damage out on this track. The question is, how are they getting it? Is it because of those little rumble strips, or is it just hitting the brakes and it's dragging the splitter? Regardless of what it is, something's causing damage. So it's going to be interesting to watch those as we're watching Richard Reagan here, currently second fastest with a 51.888. Again, we're not going to go through every single time. That's why they're on the screen here. We're going to go hit or miss and go through drivers. They're just, they're all over the place right now. Unlike oval racing where you can kind of cover them, they're just so spread out that it's hard to do. But you know, we are going to cover the ones we know are going to be fast. You also got Charles Hoffman out there in that 63 machine. Expect to see him fare well here tonight.
Certainly, and Mikey Neal was atop the charge, but Richard Reagan Jr. has now taken that top spot so far with a 51.3, so it looks like he's bettered his time from his practice time, so we'll see. Mikey Neal and Richard Reagan both in the 51-second bracket right now.
Yeah, and we have a new driver, Evan Osborne. This is a new driver we have not seen before here. So interesting to see that we have some new drivers with us here tonight. So we'll definitely be watching for these drivers to see how they do fare. As, again, a lot of new stuff going on, and we want to take a minute here to welcome everybody to chat. Of course, I know we got Mike Neal in chat, and we got Wilson in chat here. In a chat, brand new here. I don't believe we've seen you here. I've played Forza Motorsport before. This doesn't quite remind me of it, as Forza a little bit on the more arcadish side, where this is more, I guess, for the sim side of things.
Yeah, this is by far more realistic than those arcade style games on consoles or whatnot. I couldn't even really tell you what Forza Motorsports is like anymore, because ever since I've been on iRacing, I really haven't been able to pick up a console controller and play any kind of NASCAR type games. This sim is just so realistic. And that's making it severely addicting. So, yeah.
It is definitely an addicting sim. Expensive, but addicting at the same time, as we sink a lot of money into it. Everybody that gets on iRacing sinks a lot of money into this. That's what part of it makes it addicting, is you just don't want to step away. You almost can't. You have so much invested in it. As Ray Black Jr. Gets hard into the outside wall. Brett Mesrevy has not come out yet. And we do have some EOLs here tonight. We'll go ahead and bring those up really quick here. We'll pull them up. Brett Mesrevy, while he has not gone out, he has an EOL penalty starting tonight, as well as Josh Coley and Sterling Smith. So 3 drivers with EOLs here tonight that will be starting at the back of this field.
Yeah, once again, like I've probably mentioned in a prior race, starting in the back is never really a good thing. You're going to face adversity right from the start and have to work your way to the front. And no matter road course, oval, whatever you're facing, it's still a challenge. You have to get up to the front some way, somehow. So either by racing your way up front or strategizing with pit strategy and so forth. But in between, you have to avoid those wrecks and avoid any issues that may come your way.
Yeah, you definitely do. There's just so much you have to come through going through the rear of the field. These guys are good at what they do, so we'll definitely be just waiting to see who works their way. Who's going to be at the top? Is Brian Jones, is this actually out there running a few extra laps right now? He currently has a time in 4th place. So, again, these are just extra laps for him. So no need to really follow his times too close. But nobody else is out on the track here at the moment. So very interesting that we have Brian Bizzle, Rick Mitchell Jr., Brandon Dorsett, David Gainforth, Francois Peltier, Brett Mesrevy out there. He has a EOL. Brian Dorsey, Ray Black Jr. had a incident on the track, and Brandon Young. Those guys have not put in times yet, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this one all plays out for those guys. Because those are some fast drivers that are opting to start in the back and not being forced back there with a penalty.
Yeah, I'd say it'd probably benefit them if they can get out there and turn a lap and try to find themselves starting towards the front instead of the back. But we'll see. We'll see if those guys that are not facing penalties of some sort, if they do take a time. But right now we got Richard Reagan holding that top spot with that 51.358, followed by Mikey Neal and Jameer Mohammed, all 3 running 51-second laps.
They are indeed. We got a minute 20 left here. So that is going to basically do it here for qualifying. They wouldn't be able to go back anyway if they wanted to. They wouldn't have enough time to get a warm-up lap in and a lap. So we'll go ahead and get rid of your driver bar there. And we'll leave qualifying up here for about another 30 seconds or so. But we're going to go silent on the mics for a moment. So again, just hang tight and get you something to drink, something to snack on. We only have 40 laps here. We're only going to be here maybe an hour with everything involved, because there are no cautions here tonight other than local cautions. But those will not stop the field. So we will go live back on the mic here momentarily, as we are going to step away here for just a moment. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to drop down to the track as we're going to get to the fields here, and it's a standing start. I did not expect this, so we're just going to go through this grid very quickly here, or we would have gone through it. It's going to be Richard Reagan and Mikey Neal on the front row, followed by Jameer Muhammad, Brian Jones, Bruce Clay, and Jim Locking, Alex Huffman and Charles Hoffman, Evan Osborne and Scotty Zirk, Jason Covington and Butch Frazier, Dana Butler and Tony Rice on row 7. Row 8 is going to be Justin Starr and Justin Spear. Row 9 is going to be Rick Mitchell Jr., David Gainforth, and looks like they are doing a rolling start. I thought they'd do a standing start there for a minute. Didn't see the pace car. Row 10 is going to be Sterling Smith and Brian Bizzle. Row 11 is going to be Brandon Young and Brett Meservy. Row 12 is going to be Josh Coley and Ray Black Jr. Row 13 is going to be Brandon Dorsett and Francois Peltier. Row 14 is going to be rounding out the fields here tonight, and that is going to be Brian Dorsey. Again, rounding out the grid here for the Walls Beard Co. A starting grid. And again, I thought it was going to be a standing start there. I wasn't thinking straight. I do apologize for that. But we are getting ready to get this thing going, as it's going to be Richard Reagan Jr. and Mikey Neal on the front row to get this thing started. This should be a very interesting race.
This will indeed be an interesting race, and being on the front road is a huge beneficial factor. They can punch that gas and get going and avoid anything that normally would be in front of them had they not been on the front row. And that's a good thing with these local cautions, because if a wreck happens behind them, they get to keep going. They don't have to stop.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a huge lifesaver, as there's the green flag. And we'll get your information up on the top here, as it is Richard Reagan Jr. that gets a nice little jump, and we are officially racing again. No cautions will come out. The good news is this race will not end under caution. The bad news is if you get caught in trouble, you are going to be in trouble, because you are definitely going to fall back quite a ways.
You certainly will. If you get off track, spin out, wreck, and collect damage, you're going to have some battles ahead of you, and you just want to take your time, take it easy, fall in line, get a rhythm together, and then try to pick off one by one if you're able to. So far, it looks like a clean start, and everybody's kind of single file. This is a narrow track. It's going to be hard to find passing room to make passes here.
Yeah, it looked like we were watching Ray Black Jr. as he got shuffled off the track a little bit, but he did keep it going in the right direction, so he will keep going forward, as he is side by side with, I believe, Rick Mitchell here in that 61. It looks like he's going to get by him and take the position, and almost making contact, so we'll go back up to the front. We heard Richard Reagan would be extremely fast if he was here, and he is doing that right now. He is already have a .833 second gap, and that's usually a huge gap on a oval, but that's not quite as much on a road course, but it's still a sizable lead.
Certainly is, and I'm further back here. He had one car off the track there a little bit, but he's back in line. It looked like the 24 car. This is back in the 20th position. We got a couple side-by-side battles going on here, and it's getting a little dicey.
Yeah, definitely, as they're really starting to mix it up. For the most part, they are single file, but yeah, back here with Brett Meservy, Brian Dorsey, even Josh Coley, they're really starting to mix it up. And this is towards the very back of the field, 23rd-ish through 27th. They're not done yet. They're just getting started. Compared to the front of field, they've kind of sorted their mess out and are moving forward. But someone like Josh Coley, who is a fast driver, to be stuck here in the back right now trying to get by the 9 of Brian Dorsey and the 61 of Rick Mitchell, where he does get by the 9. It can become frustrating a little bit knowing that you're fast and just can't get by.
Yeah, as a driver myself, it does get frustrating if you get stuck behind somebody that's slower and kind of holding up. And we do have some cars off the track right there. It looks like the 77 car, and I can't see the other one just yet, but looks like they're going to get back going, and looks like they've got some damage to deal with now.
Yeah, you definitely will have damage, and there's no time to go in and get it repaired. That's the major problem here. To go back to the complete opposite end here, as we go to Mikey Neal, he now has a deficit of 2.233 second gap. So he has just fallen back here a little bit, and I don't think it's that he's slow. He's still running 52.8s, but Richard Reagan running 52.2s compared to this field. So this is a fixed setup. We got to get that out there, and he is just that much faster on this fixed setup right now.
Yeah, fixed setups are a little more challenging to drive since you don't have the opportunity to adjust these cars to your liking. You are just kind of stuck with what the car is, and everybody's on the same page pretty much. It just comes down to driver ability, I guess. You can change your steering ratio to something that might fit you a little bit better, and then you just kind of got to drive with it. Find what works for you, find the line that works for you best, and hang on to it the best you can. I just want to touch back to those two cars that I noticed, the 77, the other car was the 63 of Charles Hoffman. And the 77, as I'm speaking, spins through turn 1 there, and these two cars are kind of front bumper to bumper here, but they're struggling here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We heard about a lot of people that would be struggling here tonight. They're not used to these road courses. They're not used to turning right. And it's definitely plaguing a lot of people here. And there's not many races left in this series. The good news is this is kind of just an off-season series. It's not their main one. That does pick up in February 17th, I do believe, somewhere around there. So this is kind of just a little bit of practice for them. Just to kind of get a feel for the cars again. As Tony Rice almost gets to the back bumper of the 61 of Rick Mitchell, but he does stay off of him, as there's a good little battle going on here, as well as the 50 getting in there, the mix of Sterling Smith, who was issued that EOL, and he's trying to get by these two, but they're just not letting it by right now.
We got a couple of battles going on. A couple little battles going on here. The 91 is working on the 83 right now. The 91 of Jim Lockett looks like he's going to take that position. And the 83 car has now fallen back, Alex Huffman. Nice little battle going on here.
Definitely good little battles going on everywhere throughout this field. Again, and that's why these road courses, while they're so fun to watch, they're so hard to cover because they get so spread out. You never know where everyone is at any given time. They literally will be all over the field. And I wouldn't be surprised here if we don't see some, here in, I would say, maybe 10 laps. We may see some lap cars coming to the picture.
You're absolutely right, as the 46 car of Regan Jr. looks to be about a second and a half over second place, and he has caught some cars and is putting some cars a lap down. So just as you speak of it, it's happening.
Yeah, and didn't expect it this early, but it is a factor of this type of racing that eventually somebody will go a lap down. Especially you got the people, not that they're bad racers or anything, but Sterling Smith, Justin Spear, Rick Mitchell, Charles Hoffman. Not used to seeing him back there, but some of these guys newer. But being back there obviously means you've spun out or something's happened. And the car's just not handling the way you want it to, and that's a product of not coming to this type of track very often. So it is, unfortunate. The driver I want to point out, though, is the 38 of Evan Osborne. First time racing here in the series, the first time we've ever covered him, and we've been here for quite some time, and here he is with a top 10 run right now in 9th place.
Yeah, it's great to see some guys getting out here, new drivers, checking out iRacing and the various leagues that are out there. And looks like he's running a pretty solid race. Like you said, he's up in the top 10, actually running 9th right now. car looks pretty clean. He is following a huge pack of cars here, so hopefully he can find his way through that without any damage.
Yeah, they definitely do not want to get any damage here. Again, we've already talked about how you don't have a chance to repair that here tonight. So these guys, if they get it, they're stuck with it. As you're watching, again, Evan Osborne, we'll go up a few spots here. And well, I thought I saw somebody off the pace, but it's not. So there you see, there's your leaders. The 101 of David Gainforth is going to go off the track. And he is going to have to try to recover from that as he is back currently in 23rd, 1 lap down. Brandon Young, right there in that 51, is the next one to go a lap down. As you see him right there, and there's your leader. So he is right on his heels, fixing to put him a lap down. Meanwhile, you go behind him. Look at this little group going on here with Mikey Neal involved in here. But this is some lap cars as somebody's going around.
Yeah, I just caught the 24 car actually spinning out. I forget what corner that was, but, man, he hit the wall pretty hard.
He did indeed, and he's going to get back onto the track, and that's going to make all these other drivers have to check up a little bit as he comes back on the track. I wouldn't say he jumped out in front of him or anything like that, but, you know, anytime you see a car coming from the grass to the track, it's going to scare you a little bit, and it's going to make you check up, because obviously you don't know if they're going to jump out in front of you or if they are going to, you know, stay far enough back to be out of harm's way. You just don't know, so it's going to make you react to it.
Yeah, and I'm actually checking out this 24 car. It looks like he hit the wall hard, but I don't see too much damage on that car. I think the more or less damage came from the positions he's lost, as he's now fallen back to the 23rd position.
And that's in a dangerous spot back there, as he's amongst a bunch of drivers that already have damage. And, you know, once you get damage, the car may not already be handling right, and then that damage just adds to that. However, this isn't one of those tracks, but there are some tracks sometimes where you can actually get a little damage and the car will handle better. Obviously, you could probably go talk a little bit more about that sometimes you can actually knock the car to handling better than worse.
In fact, you're right. It can happen. It's very rare. Majority of the times when you get damage, it's not for the better. It actually hurts you, especially when you're on a more aero-dependent track, not so much a road course. You hit the front end very hard, it could knock the toe out and knock your steering out and really, really upset the car. Sometimes it gets so frustrating you just want to take it down pit road and call it a night.
Yeah, it's insane that you know, such. And the thing is, each part of this car too is different. If you damage the side of the car, it's not going to hurt you too much. You damage that splitter in the front, that's where it's really going to hurt you. And so far, you know, we had all those people that talked about the damage that they would get. We really don't know how much damage they're acquiring until we get to our first pit stops and we see if they have that optional repair or mandatory repairs and how long they're stuck on pit road.
Yep, and if they choose to sit there and fix that damage on pit road, it's going to cost them some massive track time. If it's required damage, I guess they have no choice. They'll have to sit there and get that required damage fixed. But I bet you cars will come down, take 4 tires, full tank of fuel, and you probably see that start happening just after the halfway point.
Yeah, it definitely will. And Bruce Clay, I want to talk about him for just a minute. He's sitting in 3rd place. We haven't really talked about him a whole lot here tonight. But he is a driver that his first race ever, this is his 2nd race, his first race did not go as well as he would probably like. He was well in the back of the field, but he has redeemed himself here tonight in that number 80 machine, as he is currently running 3rd place for a podium finish. So from going towards the back to running in a top 3 position, a very good change or turn of events here for the 80. So a road course doing him well. Meanwhile, we just watched the 9 of Brian Dorsey spun around on the track.
Yeah, I saw that 9 sitting on the grass. There is the 80 of Bruce Clay came by. He got by clean, and his car looks pretty good, pretty solid. And for a second race in the series here, he's doing pretty good. He's finding his own, and maybe he's secretly a road racer. Maybe he didn't tell anybody he could drive these road courses.
Yeah, that could be. I'll have to keep an eye on him to see if maybe he's a little ringer here for the road courses, as Jamir Muhammad having a fourth place run right behind him, doing a very good job. And we've been talking about Covington Motorsports here in the last couple of races and how good they've been doing lately. And they got several drivers. One that I know, of course, is Jason Covington. He's sitting in fifth, and he's given Jamir Muhammad a run for his money. Jamir has been a very fast and very competitive driver in every race. He did have a few races where he struggled a little bit there, but he's doing good here. But so is Jason Covington. He is not letting Jamir away from him. So to say that you're keeping up with one of the fastest drivers in the league, that says something right there.
It certainly does, and that 10 car there of Jason Covington has some left front damage there, but somehow he's making that car work for him, and it's actually pretty fast, as he did take that position away from the 2 of Muhammad.
Yeah, he did indeed take it away. We'll keep an eye to see maybe if he can get up there and give Bruce Clay a run for his money. I know back in 6th place, Brian Jones, I'm very familiar with him, as he used to run in my own league when we had some short track racing going on. He's a very fast driver. He won some races as well. And he is just one of those type of drivers that it doesn't matter what it is. He just likes to be behind the wheel and racing anything he can. So he's definitely enjoying being here on the racetrack, as he is currently just outside a top 5 finish. So we'll wait and see. But there's just battles going on. We're just having to find them throughout the track right now.
Yeah, we're nearing the halfway point in this 40-lap event here, and cars are pretty well spaced out. There's a handful of cars 15th and back are now a lap down. So we have 14 cars on the lead lap. And as we were speaking of the 10 of Jason Covington and the 2 of Jamir Muhammad, they've got some ground to make up. They're about 13 to 14 seconds behind the race lead, so the leader's running away with it.
Yeah, he definitely is. Again, I mentioned that he would be fast here, as he is a 3.4 second lead right now. And what that means is when he comes down pit road, he has a huge lead. That is very good, so he can get in and off pit road, assuming he doesn't have any damage to fix, which doesn't look like he does, and assuming he can get in cleanly. There should be no reason that he won't come out the leader just as he did when he's going to go in. So pit stops are going to be crucial here. Even though you're really spread out, you still have to make sure that you don't make any mistakes on pit road.
No, mistakes in general on the track or on pit road, wherever they can be made, will be disastrous to your race. You definitely want to watch your pit road entry, your pit road speed. You want to get into that pit box pretty squared up there, not too far forward, otherwise you're going to have to back up. It'll cost you a few tenths there. The 46 is out front leading this race and has a pretty solid run going. The 8 of Mikey Neal is right there. He can see him. He can see the 46 right there. He's just right. He's within reach. We'll see if he can close that gap and catch him and battle for the lead.
That'll definitely be trying here. And I'm curious, if you're Mikey Neal right now, you're coming on lap 19. We are 2 laps away from being at the halfway point, or completing the halfway point anyway. 1 lap away. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Mikey Neal maybe come in here in short pit by a lap, because I'm pretty sure they can make 20 laps on fuel, obviously, if they're here. But he hasn't done it here. He would have to come in very soon. I really think Mikey Neal, knowing the strategy he likes to use, I think he may short pit the leader to see if he can get some kind of advantage over him when it comes to tire and fuel.
He very well could, and if he does, if that's a strategy he chooses to do, you can almost bet that the 46 will probably hit pit road the next time by. And then Mikey Neal, if he does short pit, and he may gain just enough time to take the lead, but once he's out front, is he going to have what it takes to hold off that 46 for the remaining laps of this race?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to do, especially with that big of a gap. And we'll keep an eye on all these pit stops here, as it looks like Josh Coley has already made his while we were talking about that. So he's made his pit stop. So we'll see where he cycles out. But again, he's back in 18th right now, so he's not up at the front. We'll see if that will cycle him back up to the front. But we really are going to be watching to see when those top 5 drivers come in. When they start coming in, as you're very well aware of, it's kind of monkey see, monkey do. When your leaders come in, everybody else starts coming in, as there is the 5th place coming in as well as 6th place. So Jason Covington and as well as Brian Jones going to be coming down to pit road to start them here.
Some of those guys are making pit stops now as we speak, and they're guys that are running further back from the lead, or 10 seconds or more. So their pit stops now probably won't gain them enough time to take over the lead position. So we'll see what happens with that when pit stops cycle through. The 46 and the 8 are both staying out on the track at this point, so I'm kind of curious to see what happens when they choose to pit.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when they choose to. Again, because it's a road course, they have to come in under green flag conditions. It would be interesting if we were able to, show the fans out there and for ourselves, know if and when there's a local caution. But quite frankly, we may have seen 2 local cautions here. There really hasn't been that much going on as far as local cautions. But what I want to know here is, ooh, there goes the 19 getting a little loose and almost wrecking right in front of your leader. That's what I was just about to talk about, is how scary is that if you've got lap cars and you're the leader, they're in front of you and behind you, and then you see one get loose.
Yeah, that's a little nerve-wracking there when you see a car get loose in front of you. You're not sure if that car is going to spin off the track out of your way or come back across your nose and collect you in the process. But thankfully there for the 46, nothing happened. The 19 was able to gather it up and keep going.
Yeah, he definitely was. And it looks like Bruce Clay is coming down pit road in that number 80 machine. So he's going to give up 4th place. Well, not quite yet anyway, actually. He is still considered 4th place as of right now, as he will take tires and fuel, and he's there for 10, 11, 12 seconds. He's taking 4 tires of fuel, no question about it. 13.6 seconds, not a bad stop. However, I noticed Brian Jones only took 2 tires.
2 tires can be tricky. You're going to lose a little bit of grip there. But as I mentioned, the 46 and the 8 both are entering pit road together. So let's see if we can make some clean pit stops here and who gets off pit road first.
And definitely is both. I figured the 8 would come in a little early, but he's not. So we're going to stay on pit road and follow these guys. Whoever comes out first here will be your new race leader. As will somebody take 2 tires? And no, it's not going to happen. And Mikey Neal stuck on pit road for 15 seconds, 15.9 seconds. So a really good stop for Richard Reagan, as he had a 14.1 second stop. Mikey Neal with a 15.9. Oh, that is definitely going to hurt Mikey as far as pit stops go.
It certainly will. They are both back out on the track now as the 46 resumes his lead position, and he's probably actually going to increase that lead. Right now I think it's about 3.5 seconds, but it looks like unless something drastically happens with the 46 car, it looks like the 46 car's got this one locked up.
Yeah, I definitely think he definitely has it locked up. Unless something happens. And again, it's a race. Anything can and will happen. That's why they call it racing. And, he could potentially make a mistake, and one mistake is all it would take, as you would already lose the time from the mistake itself, and then having to gain speed again would cost you even more. Mikey Neal is ready to pounce, even though he's currently 6.3 seconds behind.
Yeah, you're right about that. A road course actually opens up the opportunity for many, many more mistakes to happen than a traditional oval track typically would. You have various corners, and anything can happen in any corners. You may be upshifting, downshifting. You could overbrake, oversteer. So many things could happen. So you just have to be patient and hit your marks as we see some cars sliding off the track.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to hang on for everything here. And just not being able to work out for everyone here tonight as they're all over the place. And again, we're still trying to find those battles. As you got a good one going on here between Brian Jones and Jameer Muhammad. That is a battle currently for, looks like, about 5th position. As Ray Black Jr. comes to pit road, he'll give up a 4th spot, or 3rd spot, actually. Yeah, it was 4th, my bad. So he'll give a 4th to go to 6th. But still a battle going on is, never mind, Brian Jones goes through the grass.
He certainly did go through the grass there, and the 2 of Jameer Muhammad has taken over that position and will move up into the 4th position. These guys were battling for that spot, roughly 22 seconds behind the race lead, so they're kind of in a race of their own, but now Brian Jones looks like he's got some ground to catch up.
Yeah, he's definitely got some ground to catch up. And speaking of catching up ground, who's caught some, going back here to Josh Coley, who, again, we'll pull that up, started 23rd, and he's up to 14th right now. 13th, technically, as he hasn't crossed the line. It'll update there. There it is, 13th highest. He started 23rd, but he went as low as 25th. And again, has worked his way up to 13th. So he's working his way through this field slowly, but he definitely is getting through it.
He is, and just to note, the car in front of him is the 10 car of Jason Covington, and that is the 3rd place car right now. So you can see there's a mix of positions intertwined with each other, with the 10 car there in 3rd and the 33 right behind him in 13th.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many cars that are laps down. As we're doing the math here, there are only 8 cars on the lead lap. It's crazy when you think about that on a road course. That's the kind of stuff you expect to see at something like Bristol, where you're constantly seeing cars. But our leaders are doing it here tonight, and it's not just our leader that's passing them. All the way up to 3rd, 4th, 5th place are actually passing these cars. So very few cars remaining on the lead lap. Jim Locking, currently the last car on the lead lap, as you see him go under the sign. And there is your race leader, and he's got a little bit of a gap, so he's not in too big a danger, but he will catch him probably before this race is over.
I wouldn't doubt it. We got roughly 13, 14 laps left in this race, and it's a fast-paced race with no cautions, so everybody's spread out. And yeah, like you said, you got 8 cars on the lead lap right now. Jim Locking, the last one, he's about 47 seconds nearly behind the race lead. So Mikey Neal, roughly 4 seconds in 2nd place, still trying to chase down Richard Reagan, who has been running away with this race tonight.
Oh, and our 2nd place car gets caught up in a mess here with the 101 of David Gainforth, a lap car. You know, we've got to go back and see. He's still in 2nd, but let's go back and take a look and see what happened to the 8 of Mikey Neal. I went back about 30 seconds to take a look at this. We talked about how lap cars could potentially cause a problem for these guys. As David Gainforth half into the grass and then comes up right into Mikey Neal and just takes out the back quarter panel of his car. And again, I'm not sure what David Gainforth was doing in the grass there. It looked like he was maybe, I don't know if he was wrecking or just trying to let the guys by, but in the end did not succeed in it, as Mikey Neal has quite a bit of damage and now nearly a 13-second gap to the lead.
Yeah, see, some simple mistake just as that, as we've seen, can cost a driver a huge amount of time on the track. It looks like Mikey Neal suffered a little bit of damage in that, and but he's still going in the right direction. At this point in the race, it's a little late. Probably doesn't have enough time to really chase that lead back down.
Yeah, that very well could be something you just cannot overcome here. Again, 13 seconds. He's maybe closing it, but when you're gaining a tenth a lap, it's just not going to be enough to make anything happen, especially when you look at the leader here, who has a big chunk of space in front of him once he gets past the 64 of Tony Rice. Is Tony Rice going to let him by easily here? We'll see as he does take it and let him by easily. So now he's got clear selling in front of him, nobody around him. So it's just all about the 46 right now. If he makes a mistake, it could change things, but I definitely think he's got this race wrapped up.
I would agree with you there. The 46 has started first and has kind of dominated this race. I want to say that he's led every lap in this race. I don't think any other driver has. He has a little bit of a crinkle on his nose a little bit, so maybe he put the bumper to somebody early on, but it's not affecting him if that's the case. 46 definitely has a strong car, and Mikey Neal with that incident probably doesn't, like I said, have enough time to get back up there.
Yeah, it really is unfortunate, too, because he had such a fast car here, and especially coming from someone who earlier in practice was talking about how the car was bottoming out and the engine was blowing up on him. He didn't think he was going to do well. To be running in second, and here this happens after he had already a longer pit stop than he wanted. It just compounding the stuff here. And that second thing, the pit stop, I don't think he did anything wrong there. And then with the incident on the track, definitely nothing wrong. He was just a victim of the 101 of David Gainforth there. Again, not sure what he was doing, trying to get off the track, out of their way, or what he was doing if he had wrecked. But collecting the 8, so unfortunate for Mikey Neal. But Jason Covington, though, also having a good run here in that number 10 machine.
He certainly is running there in third place right now. He is roughly a couple seconds behind second place now, with Mikey Neal's demise there has now closed the gap, so maybe the 10 car is pushing there a little extra as he can see the 8 car just in front of him, so we'll see if he can take over that second spot.
Yeah, he's currently got a 2.4 second gap. We'll keep an eye on that. Now it's 2.0, so I think that damage may be affecting Mikey here. As let's get a close look if we can't go to Mikey Neal here. The good news for Mikey, I don't think his splitter in the front is too messed up. We just can't get a real good look at it here. If that splitter's messed up and it's hurting his downforce, which it looks like it looks to be okay, but again, you just can't tell from the angle we have. That could very well let the 10 catch him, as he is catching him right now.
He certainly is. He's closing that gap. They're basically right in the same exact corner. As long as they're hitting their marks, the 10 car looks like he's closing his gap. And with the amount of laps we have in this race and the amount of turns, an opportunity for mistake, the 10 car could be there. And we could be seeing a battle there for the second place spot.
Yeah, it very well could be. And that's like you just talked about. He has ample time. We currently have 6 laps. It's going to be 5 at the line to make it happen. And it's not like a road course or a road course, a oval where you, like you said, have those 4 laps. You have many laps to or many corners per lap there as the 19 goes off track. And going back here, I'll find out where the 19 is. As I don't even see him on my charts here. There he is. That is Francois Peltier. That is back in 14th, though, not the track. But, yeah, he has plenty of time to get around this track to try to make it happen.
Yeah, the laps are winding down. Something's going to have to be done here. I think Mikey Neal might be feeling the pressure here. He wants that second place. I know it's not the first, but he's now in the defense mode now, trying to defend his second place finish here, as that 10 car is probably pushing a little bit harder to try to gain every inch he can. The gap looks like it's opening up a little bit. Mikey Neal with the advantage in second place right now going into turn 1.
Yeah, he's definitely is. He's got that lead or gap over second place back to 2.3 seconds. So I'm wondering if Mikey may have just been maybe playing with it a little bit, trying to get the tires back under him. After sliding like that, it could potentially have, flat spotted him. So he could have just been trying to get him back under him where the car filled right. And now he's back going full speed again. And that gap between first and second, though, now 15 seconds. So, again, unless one of these lap cars poses a problem, as you see the 46 of Richard Reagan catching the 101 of David Gainford. This is where Mikey had his issues. So we'll see. Is it going to pose a problem here for your leader? But it looks like he's going to get by him fairly easy. But he does have damage as well.
He certainly does, and that was, like you said, the exact same spot that caught the 8 of Mikey Neal up there with the 101, but the 46 got by nice and clean and continues on up the hill there, and this is it. A couple more laps, and he's going to secure a win here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely is. 4 laps to go. 4 very long laps, though, as we talked about earlier, so we'll have to keep an eye here, as it looks like Francois Peltier went off track again. I see dust flying, and he was down to about 40 miles an hour, so I believe he probably went off course there one last time, as we see the 555 of Butch Frazier in the grass now.
We got a couple cars, the 83 car there and the car in front of him that are now in front of our race leader. We'll see the 91 there. And we'll see if the 46 can work his way around there. And just ahead of them 2 cars is the 80 of Bruce Clay, who is running in the 6th position. Still a good, solid top 10 run for that 80 machine in his 2nd race with this series.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. Brian Jones just ahead of him. So we do have a few cars out here, very few I might add, that don't have any damage on them, but it is far and few between, as just about everyone has some front end damage or rear end damage, and then you have some out there that do have side damage as well. Jameer Muhammad, though, has a fairly clean car, and he's sitting in 4th place, so a solid run for him. But I think pretty much this is going to go to Richard Reagan for the win. As for 2nd place, I think Mikey Neal might have picked it up enough. He's got a 3-second gap, so I think our top 3 are pretty much going to stay just about where they are. However, Jim Locking is about to go a lap down, so maybe that little push that he can get from your leader might also push him past Bruce Clay for 6th place.
Yep, and as the laps wind down, it looks like we have 7 cars on the lead lap, but as you mentioned, the 91 there of Jim Locking is holding on to that last lead lap spot, but he's right there in front of the race leader. I don't know at this point that the race leader, and the 80 car just going off track, but almost collected into the 46, our race leader, but saved it, got back on in the right direction. I don't think the 46 is going to push it too much here. He may get by the 91, but he may just take it easy. Looks like he's making that move right now as I speak.
Yeah, he is. This is the final lap. Of course, your last lap is presented by Northwest Racing Series. As we see, we're going to watch the 46 here, as this is his race to win or lose right now. It's up to him. If he makes a mistake, he could potentially lose it. If he doesn't, it's his race to win, so we'll definitely be talking to him later. Oh, as the 31 goes upside down in the background as he gets pushed upside down, rolling it down the track.
I saw that coming off that final turn, the car flipping over as the 46 flew down that straightaway and actually lapped the 91 car right at the start-finish line to finish the race. 5 cars on the lead lap, and Richard Reagan, a dominant run tonight, takes the win from the pole.
He does indeed. Again, led every single lap here tonight. And before we get over to the post-race show, of course, so we need to go through your unofficial race results. As always, starting with first place, of course. Chris, you want to run through our top 10 here tonight, and then I will bring us home.
Right on. Here from Lime Rock Park, your finishing order, top 10 here. Richard Reagan Jr. with your race win. Mikey Neal taking home second place. The 10 car of Jason Covington comes home third. The 2 of Jameer Mohammed, fourth. Rounding out your top 5 will be Brian Jones in the 45 car. 6th place, 91 Jim Locking. 7th place, the 83 car of Alex Huffman. 8th place, the 80 car of Bruce Clay. 9th, Brett Maservi. Hope I said that right. In the 7 car. And rounding out your top 10 tonight is Josh Cooley in the 33.
In 11th place will be the 555 of Butch Frazier. 12th place will be the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. 13th will be the 50 of Sterling Smith. 14th will be the 9 of Brian Dorsey. And 15th will go to the 99 of Justin Starr. 16th will go to the 19 of Francois Peltier. 17th will go to the 21 of Dan Butler. 18th place will go to the 24 of Brian Bizzle. 19th will go to the 64 of Tony Rice, and 20th will go to the 31 of Scotty Zerg. 21st will go to the 101 of David Gainforth. 22nd will go to the 18 of Ray Black Jr. 23rd will go to the 77 of Justin Spear. 24th will go to the 61 of Rick Mitchell Jr. 25th will go to the 38 of Evan Osborne, who had a good run earlier, just didn't quite capitalize off of the solid run he had earlier in this race. 26 will go to the 63 of Charles Hoffman, and 27th, rounding out the field here tonight, will go to the 51 of Brandon Young. That will do it here for your unofficial race results. We are going to step away here for just a moment to get over to the post-race show, and we will be right back. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with your post-race show. Of course, starting in third place, that will be the number 10 of Jason Covington. And I believe that Chris has caught up with him. So, Chris, we'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I got Jason Covington here in the 10 car. What a race tonight. Road course racing, right turns, not just left turns. Tell us about your race.
Well, practice was real good. Didn't get the qualifying effort that I wanted. Had to work my way back up through the field, and it paid off at the end.
Yeah, it looks like you had a solid run going there. Starting in the back, you were just kind of moving along, picking them off one by one, moving your way forward, getting up there into the top 3. Looked like you collected some damage there. It didn't look like it hurt you any. In fact, did it help you?
I don't know that it helped any. I got most of the damage from lap cars, either running off the road and coming back up in, hitting me, or just I don't know what they's doing, parking in the middle of the turn or something,
Yeah, we noticed a few cars getting off track and getting in the way there a little bit. but looks like you got a solid run. The 8 car got caught up a little bit. It looks like you were right there. Did you think you had anything from Mikey Neal in the 8?
No. I seen his car was a little damaged. I thought maybe I might could do something then, but I just can't keep up with him.
Yeah, he's certainly a fast driver out there. Congratulations on the podium finish there in 3rd. You got any sponsors, acknowledgments you want to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, Gold Cube, Global Building Contractors, RACECORE, iRacing Drivers World on Facebook, Dan Butler Designs, and of course Covington Motorsports and everything we do, as a team.
Right on. Congratulations again for that 3rd place finish, and I'm going to hand it over to Charles, who's got your 2nd place finisher tonight.
Indeed, I do have a 2nd place with us here. That is the 8 of Mikey Neal. And, we got to ask those tough questions here, Mikey. It looked like you had a run there. Richard was fast all night long. We knew it coming in that he'd be fast. But it looks like you may have had a shot to get him until that little tangle up there with the 101. Again, we're not sure what exactly he was doing. And maybe, I don't know if he wrecked earlier, if he was trying to get out of the way. We just don't know. But maybe you can shed some light on that. That definitely ended your shot here at trying to get the win.
Yeah, I guess all I can say is things happen. I mean, I don't really think he would do it intentionally. I've raced with him for a long time. He went through the grass. I'm not sure why he's in the grass, but I had to check up for the car in front of me. I didn't want to hit him, and he got into me. I mean, nothing he could really do. I checked up hard, so accidents happen. You have to just get by them. Other than that, the race went very smooth. I think I had 2nd fastest car, so I finished exactly where I needed to stay at.
Well, you definitely had a solid run here. Unfortunately, nobody led any laps but Richard Reagan. But I talked to you earlier, and you were talking about how the engine was blowing up. So, did you have to do anything special and treat this car extra nice here tonight to keep that engine from expiring on you anytime? Or did it just kind of go away and you didn't have to deal with it too much?
Well, the car was just bottoming out really bad in practice, especially when you got on the right side. So I kind of just played on the left side. I played it safe. I didn't really gas it going down the hill, trying to keep it. I think the only pit stop I had about 40 seconds of damage, and that was not from any contact or anything. So I think I had a little bit, but other than that, everything else was just racing. And even if the engine was damaged there, it didn't really matter about how fast you were, just how you got around the lap cars, and I did a good job about that today. Just had that one incident, so.
Well, overall, a solid finish for 2nd place, so we know you got some shout-outs and sponsors, so who would those be for that 2nd place finish?
But yeah, I got to thank my KM teammates. Alex, he finished 7th tonight. Also got to thank my PRG teammates. Richard won tonight, so congrats to him. Got to thank you guys for broadcasting every race. Got to thank iRacing Drivers World for sponsoring the series. Also got to thank Global Building Contractors and Dan Butler Designs. I got to thank my mom and dad. I know they're both watching. I love you guys. Got to thank Dan and Justin for hosting the league. They do a great job. We all have fun. Got to thank all the viewers for watching. We love having you guys every week. And same thing with top 3. Congratulations to Jason for getting that 3rd place finish. And we all had fun tonight.
All right, and congrats on 2nd, as we will hand it over to Chris, who has caught up with our race winner here tonight, the 46 of Richard Reagan Jr., who led all 40 laps.
Hey, Richard, how's it going? Got a rocket machine there tonight. Started first, led every lap, brought it home in 1st place. How was it?
The car felt really good. The only thing that worried me was the damage we were getting from bottoming out in turn 7. So I was just trying to take that easy and not get any engine damage from that.
Yeah, starting from the pole, leading every lap, being out front. There's a lot of lap cars pretty quick with a fast-paced race, no cautions. Was the lap traffic too much of a problem for you?
It wasn't really a problem. I was just trying to be really patient through it because Mikey, I know he wasn't going to race me like stupidly with lap traffic. So I was just trying to take my time and not get any damage.
Certainly, damage can be a huge problem no matter where you're at. Mikey Neal was kind of pacing there with you, maybe a second and a half or two behind you for a while until they got caught up in a little incident. But looks like you ran away with it tonight. Thought maybe that 80 car there in turn one got off track and might have come back up and got you there on that last lap. But thankfully, you were able to get past that. Congratulations on the win tonight.
Yeah, thank you. There wasn't much of my race that really happened to talk about, so I guess I'll just thank people. Everyone at RACECORE, Iracing Drivers World, Neonism Game Art, Pinnacle Racing, Mikey, Neil, First Ford, First Auto, Connor Souza for watching, because I know he's watching. Folds of Honor, Multiple Sclerosis Society, Sim Racing Apps, and that's it.
All right, appreciate it. Congratulations again for the win, and that was your winner, Richard Reagan Jr. in the 46 machine, a dominant race tonight. Back to you, Charles.
All right, well, that will just about do it here for tonight's race. Of course, we want to thank all the sponsors that have come on board here for this series. Those do include, with the brand new sponsor coming on board, as we'll pull them up, that is Gold Cube. So make sure you check them out, as well as the following sponsors here. Global Building Contractors, Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills, and Dan Butler Designs. And of course, your presenting sponsor here for tonight's race and series, that is Iracing Drivers World. Make sure you check out all of these great partners on the racing side of things. And on the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the following partners for 2018. Those include Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, Ohio IndyCar League, SimSpeedShop.com, and iBog. Make sure you check out all of these great partners on their social media sites and give them a shout out. Support them for supporting us. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. As always, on behalf of VRN and RACECORE, we hope you have a safe rest of your night, and we will see you tomorrow night for our normal Monday night series as the playoffs begin for the the Northwest Xfinity Series. As we got RACECORE in the mind, but it is the Northwest Xfinity Series, race 1 of the playoffs at Talladega. Tune in at 10:30 p.m. Central Time and have a great time watching some exciting plate track racing from the Super Speedway. We'll see you tomorrow night.